Okay, so the finish. Ryan Blaney is controlling the restart, and I'm thinking this thing is all but over. Especially when he takes the white, there was nothing coming, and the 99 had made a couple attempts to pass him on the outside. I mean, getting really close to the wall to no avail. It just didn't seem like it was going to happen. But as you saw in the turns 1 and 2, the key moment of the race that decided how that race finished in that 3-wide fashion was really the 12 getting too far ahead when he got through 1 and 2. When he got through 1 and 2, the 99 was still getting his shit together, trying to come back into whoever was behind him. The 8 comes off of turn 2. He's backing up, and the 12 had too much of a gap there, and it was a huge run. And then the 8, such a heads-up move to kind of shoot the middle gap there, because he's probably thinking that he's got such a big run, he's probably going to clear the 99, who at the time still didn't have a huge run coming. But the 8 made a bold move. I thought it was a great move. And we just had one of those great finishes. And hats off to the drivers, because I know I'm saying hats off a lot. I got to come up with something else. We got to give credit to the 3 drivers, because none of them wiped each other out. They
hardly even touched.
Right? Like, great job, Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney, Daniel Suárez, just racing this thing, racing it out. Can you hear me? I just pulled my plug out.
I can hear you.
Yeah. So, yeah, for them to just see how this thing was all going to play out, it's really what made such a great, fantastic finish. And hopefully, this gives some well-needed momentum for NASCAR to start their 2024 season.
Did somebody on this finish, whether it's Blaney, whether it's Suárez or KB, did somebody do something here that gave them an edge in this finish? Or is it just we're all holding down the gas and whoever gets their first wins?
Yeah, everyone's holding down the gas for sure. Blaney probably feels when he was probably put 3 wide to the bottom, he's probably thinking, oh, crap, I'm probably not in a good spot. But, damn, he missed it by, it had to be 3 inches, 2 inches. Like, even the NASCAR needs to upgrade their photo finish camera, because that is, like, you see the ghost of the front end, right? You don't actually see the front end of the 99.
They did. They had a new little graphic to show who was leading at when a caution came out, though. I saw that this week.
Oh, really?
But yeah, they need to call up horse racing, because they have like some serious high tech photo finish stuff.
Oh, there's great technology out there for sure. But like,
guys, cameras are involved here. Okay, a horse is not going 200 miles an hour. The frames per second needed.
Jared, don't let your facts get in the way of our story.
Go ahead, continue.
Good point, Jared. Okay, you're right. But there's got to be something that can super duper slow-mo it without it being like a ghost of a car. Surely.
Yeah, in a couple of years from now, it'll get better.
Okay. Well, it clearly, the 99 car won by a nose or by an inch. We're not really sure. But, yeah, I mean, you would think who's got the most momentum is the car on the very outside, which is Daniel Suárez. So the key moment and why he won that race is he came off the high line of turn 4. So he was the furthest towards the wall. Well, that racetrack, if you've ever been there in person, it actually kind of goes like downhill. When you come off of turn 4, the higher you are, the more downhill you're going to the start-finish line. I haven't seen anyone bring this up yet, but it's definitely factual that when the bottom car it's pretty level from the turn to the start-finish line, but the high line is going downhill. And I think that's why the 99 car won. It's momentum. He unwinds the wheel quicker. There's factors in it. But since the banking is 20-something degrees, it's higher, right? So you've been to a track, the banking, the wall's way up there. So if you start way up and you come down, the 99 car was coming downhill at the start-finish line, where the 12 was more on a level playing field. Or do you think about that, Jared?
Yeah, I'm trying to watch the video and see if I can visually see it.
Yeah, you just need to look at the track, and you know, we drive on Talladega after the race every time, right?
Yeah.
You got to drive up the banking. So if you drive up, what goes up must come down. So the straightaways, since they are level, the banking is higher in the corners. So you come downhill, which is why you see us during qualifying at super speedways, we start at the wall before we come to green, and then we pull it down because we go downhill.
So just that little bit of angle.
Gave
Daniel just enough to
Just
edge
enough.
out.
There's one new playoff driver in this year now.
He's in.
So much for my prediction of him doing worse.
Oh, I probably was right there with you.
No, I think you said he'll do better.
I don't think so. But we know that he's going to be part of the playoffs. And so who this scares is those bubble drivers, the ones that are always on the bubble of trying to make it in on points because they don't win every single year. This makes it a little bit harder for them because it takes a spot, right? If for some reason Daniel doesn't have a rock star year for the rest of the regular season and wasn't going to get in on points, he took a spot on a win. But he's run well enough. Again, we've only seen 2 super speedway races, so let's not get too ahead of ourselves. This is a spot when you're thinking about who's in, who's out. Daniel was one of those guys where we were, always kind of debating, will he get in or will he not?
Yeah, and a lot of the talking heads out there were questioning, was Daniel on the hot seat this year? And this kind of cools that for a little bit.
Yeah, I think Justin Marks is going to have an ordeal on his hands for sure. It just depends. If he wants to go purchase another charter, it becomes easier on him for sure. He's got 4 drivers or so. He's got 2 cup seats. They got some sort of alliance with Spire, I guess, but it seems like everyone has an alliance with Spire. So I don't know how all this is all working, but certainly Daniel did himself some good favors this week by winning.
Justin did say, I can't imagine Daniel Suárez ever not being a driver at Trackhouse Racing.
That's
tonight.
too vague. I know. I hear that, and I listened to the teardown, and when you say statements like, he'll always be a part of Trackhouse, I'm sorry, you're not, it's all he can say, more than likely, right? But that doesn't mean he didn't say driving a cup car at Trackhouse.
He didn't say driving the 99 car. And SVG, meanwhile, this
Right.
weekend went 3rd at Xfinity. So that was a big.
Yeah.
I know it's Xfinity, but for Daniel, a lot of people would have said SVG number 3, and if he would have had a bad, race here, but with this win now, it allows him a little.
It does. It should, but I'm gonna just tell you that this thing comes down to dollars and cents sometimes, and when you got a couple drivers that are very, very close, or what you deem very close, you're going to make whatever makes most financial sense. And sometimes, in some instances, you do whatever makes financial sense to survive, and the talent doesn't mean as much. So we'll see how it all plays out, but it's a really good thing for Trackhouse. Certainly it is for Daniel. Hopefully this gets him some momentum, right? Trust me, if Daniel's got a fully funded car every single year, sponsors that love him, we're not even talking about this. I don't believe. I don't believe that we had these conversations. But some of these teams that really if are trying to grow, they're trying to continue to move up, get better. Trackhouse is one of those for sure. They're gonna make good business sense and good competition sense. And this, I think this may muddy the waters. This is just total speculation on my part. It's just, it might muddy the waters more than it helps it, for sure. When you kind of digest this whole Chastain Larson thing, you definitely have to go back earlier